Today, we're diving into some of Peter's most ridiculous wishes from Family Guy that make us laugh, cringe, and wonder, what were they thinking? So buckle up, because these wishes are about to get hilariously absurd. So, let's start with one of Peter's most iconic moments, shall we? Picture this. It's season 3, episode 1. The episode begins with the Griffin family relaxing in the living room. Peter, as usual, is parked on the couch, flipping through channels while the rest of the family is mildly entertained. Lois is reading a magazine, Meg is sulking, Chris is munching on snacks, and Stewie is scheming in his corner. Suddenly, Peter stumbles upon an old lamp while rummaging through his beer collection on the table. He jokingly rubs it, and boom! A genie bursts out in a puff of smoke. The family is left wide-eyed as the genie declares Peter has one wish.
Grant you 3 wishes.
Peter, 3 wishes? Oh, this is so exciting.
I want a new hat.
I want a new hat!
I want them to have new hats.
Kids, these are your father's wishes. Go ahead, honey, get whatever you want.
Of course, Peter being Peter, he doesn't wish for riches, world peace, or anything sensible. Instead, he confidently exclaims, "I wish I had a theme song that followed me everywhere." Lois rolls her eyes, muttering, "Of all the things."
Done!
I don't hear anything.
Get up, try it out.
From that moment, Peter's life turns into a walking musical. As he wakes up the next morning, a dramatic brass band announces his arrival from bed. The orchestra follows him through his morning routine, brushing his teeth with a whimsical tune, stumbling downstairs to a jazzy beat, and even adding suspenseful violins when he's opening the fridge. At first, Peter is ecstatic, strutting around town with his invisible band, basking in the attention.
A heartbeat.
But it doesn't take long for his theme song to become a public menace. At work, his boss yells, "Griffin, shut that noise off. We're not running a circus here." At the grocery store, shoppers glare as his dramatic music disrupts the peaceful background hum. Even at home, Lois snaps during dinner when the orchestra dramatically swells every time Peter takes a bite. In classic Family Guy style, Peter's wish spirals into hilarity and chaos. One night, as he tries to sneak back into the house after a late night at the Drunken Clam, the orchestra's booming drum roll gives him away, waking up the entire neighborhood. Stewie deadpans, "Ah yes, because what your life needed was a soundtrack to highlight your stupidity." Finally, after a series of ridiculous mishaps, including Peter being chased by a mob of angry townspeople demanding peace and quiet, he reluctantly agrees to let the genie take back his wish. Still, in true Peter fashion, he hums his theme song under his breath as the screen fades out, proving he'll never truly let it go. In Season 3, Episode 4 of Family Guy, Peter finds himself staring at the night sky, thinking about how much he'd love for his life to be a little bit easier. He spots a shooting star, and as any classic Peter Griffin moment goes, he quickly wishes, "I wish I had no bones." Peter thinks it'll be a fun, carefree way to live. No bones, no problems, right? But when he wakes up the next morning, things take an unexpected and hilarious turn. He tries to get out of bed, but he quickly realizes that something is terribly wrong. His body has turned into a boneless mess. Peter stumbles out of bed, his limbs flopping around like a rag doll. Every movement is a struggle as he slithers and slides across the room. Walking is out of the question. It's more like he's rolling from one spot to another, helplessly crashing into walls and furniture. He tries to grab a glass of water, but with no bones, it's like trying to hold on to a slippery fish. His arms and legs bend in all the wrong ways, making for a comical, floppy mess. The man who once took pride in his strength and tough guy persona is now reduced to a puddle of flesh that can barely stay upright. Peter attempts to go downstairs, but instead, he is flopping down the stairs, ending up in a heap at the bottom with a loud thud. At one point, Peter ends up sliding under the kitchen table, and all he can do is groan in frustration, thinking, "What did I wish for?" After failing miserably to do even the simplest tasks, like sitting up straight, picking up food, or even standing, Peter realizes maybe having bones wasn't such a bad thing after all. The whole episode is a hilarious sequence of physical comedy as Peter tries to navigate life without bones, constantly slipping, sliding, and failing at everything. Eventually, Peter has enough and wishes his bones back, but let's be real, a boneless Peter Griffin is just too funny to forget. Next up is the hilarious and chaotic Peter's Two Dads episode from Season 5, Episode 10.
Have a seat anywhere. Meg's gonna open her presents in a little bit. Oh, Francis, I'm glad you could make it.
Here, this is for Megan.
The episode kicks off with a classic Griffin family gathering to celebrate Meg's birthday. Peter, being Peter, gets carried away when it's his turn to entertain, leading to an accident where he knocks his father, Francis, down the stairs. Tragically and Peter learns a shocking truth. Francis wasn't his biological father. Feeling lost and questioning his identity, Peter blurts out a heartfelt, yet hilariously impulsive wish. I wish I knew who I really am, someone who truly understands me. That wish sparks an unforgettable journey as Peter discovers his real dad is an Irishman named Mickey McFinnigan. Determined to meet him, Peter travels to Ireland, only to find his biological father is the town drunk, celebrated for his ability to outdrink anyone. Determined to fill his ability to outdrink anyone, he meets with a reporter and begins spending time with his uncle. Mickey initially refuses to acknowledge Peter as his son, prompting Peter to challenge him to a legendary drinking contest to prove himself. What follows is peak Peter Griffin chaos. An endless flow of beer, slurred speeches, and ridiculous antics as Peter tries to win Mickey's approval. True to form, Peter's wish for self-discovery leads to one of the funniest family reunions in Family Guy history, where Peter learns that being accepted sometimes requires a pint or several of Irish charm.